What's up, guys? Tate back here with a Prank Kid combo video plus some test hands. First of all, repping Magnite's favorite deck. Anyways, let's get to the combo. So essentially, since we got Meow Meow, is a 1-card combo deck to start up. So you can essentially just have, 4 hand traps in your hand and your opponent will hate you. So we can start off with any Prank Kid monster. So Fansies, Lampsies, Dropsies, Roxies, or you could even have the field spell. So, just for simplicity's sake, we can start with the field spell. So what you do, you activate place. And within the combo, we're gonna have more cards in hand. We're going first. So we have 4 cards. So we're gonna activate place, and place can search any of the Prank Kids cards. It doesn't particularly matter what you want, but I like starting with Fansies to find that option. So we get Fansies. Normal Fansies, we're going to link summon our Fansies away into Meow Meow. Now, Fansies is going to trigger itself. You'll send 1 Prank Kids card from deck to grave. We're going to send Pranks, and then we can special summon any Prank Kids card. So we'll just special summon Roxies, since he's the worst one. I just like getting him out the way. So we'll link Meow Meow and Roxies to grave. And what we're going to go to is Doodle Dill. Now here you have 2 chain links at the same time, which place can chain block. So it has there's 3 effects. The one where it adds, which, if you were to fusion summon, you can have all monsters you control gain 5 attack, and if you link summon, it makes all of your opponent's monsters lose 500 attack. So at this point, you can't really chain block that. So what you want to do is protect your card so that way you get another Prank Kids on field. So Roxy's chain link 1, Doodle chain link 2. Doodle is then going to add our Pandemonium to hand, and Roxy's is going to trigger itself. So Roxy's is going to banish a card from our hand, so one of our random ones we started with, draw a card, and then it'll special summon. So in this instance, we'll go ahead and special summon our Lampsies. So now we're going to activate Pandemonium, fusion summoning Doodle Dill and Lampsies together. And at this point, we'll summon our Rocket Ride. Rocket Ride's very nice. So you can chain block with him, and he can also attack directly once he activates that effect. So you'll go chain link 1 Lampsies, chain link 2 Rocket Ride. Rocket Ride loses 1,000 attack, so it can chain block. That resolves and Lampsies effect go off, which burns your opponent for 500 damage and allows you to special summon another Prank Kids card. So amongst that, we'll special summon Dropsies, which is our last Prank Kids we have not used this turn. You'll activate Rocket Ride's effect, who tributes for cost, and you'll select 2 Prank Kids within your graveyard that are non-fusion and special summon. So we'll special summon Doodle Dill. And it doesn't particularly matter which Prank Kids you're going to summon at that point, so you can just pick whatever you would like. And we'll special summon Lampsies. Now, we're going to link Dropsies and Lampsies into Bow Wow Bark, which is going to trigger your Dropsies, which you gain 1,000 life points. So currently you're at 9,000 life points to your opponent's 75, and you'll special summon the Prank Kids. You can special any of them except Dropsies except Roxies, because you need a key card. So what you'll be able to special summon is your Lampsies and your Fansies, since you can't special summon a Prank Kid card with itself, and you can't use Roxies for this combo. So we'll special summon the Fansies to field. We're going to activate Doodle, tributing itself for cost, and it targets Prank Kid cards in your graveyard. So we'll target Pranks and Pandemonium to add to our hand. And at this point, we have 6 cards in our hand once more. So we'll activate our Pranks, which is you can discard a Prank Kids card to special summon a Prank Kids token, and it cannot be tributed. And we'll also set our Pandemonium for our opponent's turn. So, end phase, we'll activate Pranks, targeting Doodle Dill, Rocket Ride, and we'll target the Roxies. So that way we have 3 different of your main Prank Kids in graveyard for combo. These will get shuffled back in, and you'll be allowed to draw a card. So at this point, you have 5 cards in hand, 2 on field, which Bow Wow contribute itself to target 2 Prank Kids in grave and add them back to hand, and your Prank Kids can't destroy card effects this turn. A quick effect fusion on your opponent's turn. So it proceeds to your opponent's turn, and you can shotgun this during the main phase or wait until they start committing to plays. So what you'll do is tribute Bow Wow for cost and select Dropsies and Lampsies. And it's very important that you select these two and not a Fansies, because Battle Butler is what will be summoning on your opponent's turn, and it requires one of each of these to go into. So these two will go back to your hand. Bow Wow will go to grave, and we wait until they commit a little bit more, and we'll activate Pandemonium using Fansies, Lampsies, and Dropsies. And what we're going to summon is obviously the Battle Butler. So at this point, since this was tributed, he cannot be destroyed by card effects for all prank kids that you will have on field this turn, and these effects are going to go off. You can do different chain links however you want. You don't have to trigger them, but it's up to you. You have 5 cards in hand, so depending on what your hand is, you'll have a plethora of follow-ups. And this is a double Raigeki during your opponent's turn. So prank kids cards tribute himself for cost, but with the addition to Meow Meow, we can just banish it himself instead, and then Raigeki your opponent. And since this isn't once per turn, we can activate this a second time by tributing himself and Raigeki again. And it's super, super good. And some decks literally just can't play through it. Okay, so on to our second combo. This is to get out Toadally Awesome before our 5th summon. So you need to start out with Fansies guaranteed in hand. At least one of these 2 prank kids, it doesn't matter which one within the combo, and a Poly. So we'll just use Roxy's. So at this point, we still have 2 other cards within our hand. So we'll activate Polymerization using Fansies and Roxy's. And what we're going to summon is our Rocket Ride. So it doesn't matter on the chain links, so long as you chain block with Rocket Ride for chain link 3. So we'll just do Fansies 1, Roxy's 2, Rocket Ride 3. So Rocket Ride is going to resolve. Roxy's effect is going to banish 1 to draw a card. So we still have 2. And then it'll special summon a monster. What you want to special summon within either one of these monsters is your Dropsies, since it is a level 2 Aqua monster. And then Fansies will resolve. Off Fansies, you need to send a Dropsies to graveyard. So we'll send the 1, and then we'll special summon a Lampsies. So now we'll activate Rocket Ride's effect, tribute itself, targeting Dropsies, and either one of these. So we'll just target the Fansies, special summon them. Now we'll overlay into Dropsies, or overlay both of the Dropsies, and then there's your Toadally Awesome. So now this protects you from your Nibiru at that point. It also protects you from the chain blocking and everything like that. So if they do have a response within a hand trap, you can just use Toad, stop it right there. It's very useful. The odds of you actually opening 2 Prankins and Poly is very low. So the first combo is generally the go-to if you can manage it. And if you play it, you play the Thunder Dragon Fusion. You can set up that. So within this, we can link these 2. And we haven't used the Lampsies yet. So we can go into Doodle's effect, and Lampsies. So Lampsies are going to bring your opponent, and we'll special summon Dropsies, our 3rd one, since we have not used it this turn. And Doodle is going to add a Pandemonium. So we have Pandemonium and these 2 cards still. So at this point, you're going to trigger Doodle's effect, tributing himself, Lampsies and Fansies back to our hand. And what we'll do is set the Pandemonium and pass. So during our opponent's turn, we can activate Pandemonium and special summon our Butler. Now, the different route you can do as well is you'll still be able to get to Bow Wow, but if you want to keep this on field for whatever reason, you can deviate to that area. But the best one is just to link this off to go into your link 1, which would have been your Meow Meow, since you had not summoned it that turn. And you'll get to trigger her, gaining your 1,000, getting another monster, and you can link that off, so that way you can actually get a Bow Wow. So that'll be your field. after you Pandemonium, and you can still special summon the 3 monsters since your slots are open. And with that field, you can protect them with Bow Wow. And if you were to just summon Butler under here, Butler will be 4 grand attack since Bow Wow points to it. So you'll have a negation, double board wipe, and protection from being destroyed by card effects, +2 in hand, which could possibly be hand traps, trap cards. Very good. So like in this instance, we had a strike. So that's pretty cool in the Lampsies. So we wouldn't have had to add that back. We could have done different, but it's fine. So now we'll just go ahead and move on to test hands. Now, you generally want to set up for like the same stuff, but it all depends on what your hand is, because sometimes you can't always manage there. That is why within the extra deck, we do play the bear deck, so that way we can at least end on Battle Butler if the deck allows us. Because you play 12 Prank Kids, 2 of the field spell, 1 terraforming, so you essentially have 15 1-card starters, but you would still be surprised that, you know, once in a while you do break. So let's see what our hand gives us, shall we? So this hand, there can only be 1, Ghost Ogre, Ghost Bell, Fansies in place. So this is perfectly fine. So what I would do in this instance is activate Place, because I want to bait out an Ash Blossom if they do have it. So I'm going to activate Place. Let's say the Ash it. Okay, that's fine. So we'll normal summon Fansies and activate its effect by linking it off into Meow Meow. So now, since we link some of that, Fansies is going to dump. And at this point, I want to dump Pranks, because I'm going to set up for end turn to draw. So I'm going to dump Pranks, and I will special summon out... I'll special summon the Dropsies, because I'm not too sure what I want to banish from my hand yet with Roxy's, since all 3 of these are, you know, very useful cards. So we'll link our Meow Meow and Dropsies. Into Doodle Dill. So at this point, it's whatever you want to chain block. So I would like to chain block Doodle Dill, just so that I have it, because worst comes to worst, I can always grab back cards and use Pranks to recycle or get tokens. So I'll go chain link 1 Doodle, chain link 2 Dropsies. So Dropsies is going to give me 1,000 life points, so I'm at 9,000. And I'll special summon that Lampsies. And then Doodle's effect is going to activate, or resolve. And I'm going to grab Pandemonium. So I will activate Pandemonium using Lampsies and Doodle Dill to go Rocket Ride. And Lampsies, I will use as Chain Link 1 and Chain Block with Rocket Ride. And Lampsies is going to burn my opponent for 500, so it's 75 to 9 now. And I'll special summon Roxy since he's my last one. Or honestly, if you want, I think if I want to be really aggro, I can just special summon a Dropsies. Now, it won't get its effect when I link off, which kind of sucks. But depending on who you're playing against and you just want to test it out, you can do that. So now, what we're going to do is activate Rocket Ride. And we'll target our Doodle Doo and Graveyard. And special summon our other Dropsies. So we can overlay this into Toad. Then we can activate Doodle. To grab back Pranks and one of your stars. So we can grab back a Fansies if we want. Now, the different route we could have taken within this one, because end phase, we're just going to activate Pranks. And also have that set with the Ghost Bound Ogre in hand. And we'll just recycle our Doodle, Rocket, and the Lampsies to draw another card. And, you know, that's nice and all, but, like, you do want the double Raigeki. So the difference in this instance would have been we just would have diverted a little bit differently and gone into the previous combo that I showed you guys about going into the Battle Butler. But in this instance, we drew Ash Blossom. So, I mean, you can take your chances in it because, you know, you have the Toad. There can only be 1 in 3 hand traps. Most of the time, I don't know. your opponent probably won't be playing through that. And next turn, we draw on the Pandemonium. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But the good thing about Toad is it can grab back the Dropsies, and you already have a play for next turn. So by having that Pandemonium, it's actually not too bad as you would think. We'll do one more test hand since it's essentially the same thing going first. So we're drawing Ghost Bow, plays Instant Fusion, Lampsies. So this one's interesting. Instant Fusion's really cool because it still gives you the Rock Ride on field, which you contribute to add cards back. So it's an extender. So I like to keep Instant Fusion in hand. So we can start out by activating Place again, Ash Bait, or gets a Surges card. So cool, goes through. Grab our Fancies. We'll normal summon Fancies and link our Fancies off. We'll get Meow Meow, and Fancy's effect is going to trigger. And I very much like dumping the pranks, just that way I can set up that play. Because since we can play so many hand traps within the deck, I just feel as though it's a better option at the end. Yes, they can stop this because it recycles and everything, but I think it's well worth the risk. So we'll just go ahead and dump the pranks. And since we have a Lampsies in hand, I'd probably just dump the Roxy's. But we'll bring out Roxy's at the end because we want to deck them a little bit more before we get that draw. Because that draw could be something very, very good. So we'll just special summon Lampsies. Link Meow Meow and Lampsies into our doodle. Now right here, if your hand was really bad, instead you could just brought out the Verde and active effect. And if you run the Thunder Dragon Fusion, you could send it and then just fusion summon into something. So I mean, like, you know, whatever you prefer. Then we'll declare our chain links. So at this point, since I have the follow-up, I would want this chain link 1, chain link 2, because if they stop that, oh well, I can still get out the fusion monster as I want, and then this is still going to tribute itself for cost to grab things back, so it doesn't particularly matter at that instance. So Doodle is going to grab our Pandemonium. Lampsy is going to burn our opponent for 5, special summon Dropsies. And now I'm going to activate the Pandemonium, fusion summon Dropsies, and Doodle Do. It's Rock Ride. Dropsies 1, Rock Ride 2 as always. Dropsies will gain us 1,000 life points. And special summon us our Roxy's, which is our last Prank Kids monster we can use for the turn. So at this point, we're going to trigger Rock Ride, tributing for cost, targeting our Doodle Do. And it doesn't particularly well, we grab back, but I'll grab back to Dropsies. So at this point, we're going to trigger our Doodle, grabbing back a Pandemonium and the pranks. So that way we have that extra draw at the end I was telling you about. And we could activate Instant Fusion and special summon our Weather Washer. Now, I don't generally go into my opponent's turn. I like having him from Instant Fusion in the instance where I'm playing against someone and they can destroy all my stuff by battle very easily. He can protect you from that. So we'll use the instant here. That way we can make a Toad. So we already have these in here. So we'll link the Roxy's and the Weather Washer into Bow Wow Bark for combo during your opponent's turn. Roxy's is going to trigger. And I think we'll banish the Lampsies, because that way we already have a follow-up for next turn. And generally, if they had the Ash, they would have already wasted it. So we'll banish that, give it a shuffle, give it to our opponent because we're not cheaters, and then draw a card. We drew into a strike. That's crazy. And then we will special summon another Dropsies. So here's the issue here. By going into Toad, you will not be able to go into your Battle Butler with Pandemonium. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to deviate a little bit. And we'll have to play around with our opponent. So we'll go into dropsies, overlay them, go into a toad. Then we'll set a strike, send our pandemonium, activate pranks. End phase pranks is going to recycle our weather washer, doodle do, and rocket ride. And then we're going to draw a card. So drew into there can only be one. Very good card. It's just a little unfortunate it wasn't a hand trap. So here's the game plan here though. So we're going to have to use Toad to bait our opponent. So whatever they use, you're going to hold as much as you can because you have a strike as well. But the game plan would be use Toad to negate whatever they do and set it. So that way we take away their resources. Toad's effect is going to activate to grab back the dropsies. So we have one piece. And on resolution of that, we can wait, see what else they have. Maybe we use the strike, maybe we don't. We'll say in this instance we do. So after that, we can use Bow Wow. Grab back our Lanciers and our Fansies. So now we have all three of our pieces within hand. And we can activate our Pandemonium finally. Wrong card. Pandemonium. We'll fusion summon with them. And we'll go into Butler. So off that, we got lucky obviously with the draw. But you had two negations, and you're gonna have a double Raigeki. As well as you'll get to trigger their effects and special summon 3 more Prank Kids monsters, which in all honesty, you can just use this to special summon Dropsies to special summon Fansies, and vice versa to just get the same 3 out in the field if you really want to. And you have a mean follow-up for next turn. So, unfortunately, if you were to use Pandemonium, it is going to lock you into Prank Kids, but it's not that serious on your opponent's turn. But yeah, that's just about it for the combos. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, check out our past videos, leave us a comment, and we'll be sure to respond to you. Peace out, guys.